Hello to all iGenius community parents. My name is Rajan Arora and I'm the founder of NurseryAdmissions.com. Today I'm here to talk about nursery admissions and the nitty-gritty of this stressful period, and I'm going to offer you some tips and how to cope through this period. I believe it's very important to plan for the nursery admission process, and it should not be that you're planning, say, 15 days before. This should start at least 3 months before, because many things go into it. One thing is the documentation, and there are certain documents which require at least a month or so to get corrected or to be made if you're not having them. So you should plan quite well in advance. Another thing is that the funding which is required once your child gets through to any school. So you should be, if you are not having those funds with you, you should start preparing for that, start saving for it, or applying for loan, or whichever way you are going to arrange the funds. Apart from this, this year common admission schedule has been introduced, which is there in Delhi. This has led to several interesting complications. Right. One thing is it's basically a good thing for parents that all the schools will be coming out with results on a single day, and parents will be able to choose their best school, whichever they get through, and this will save them the problems of getting refunds from some other school if they had opted out earlier, right? And the disadvantage of this process is that you will get just one chance to apply to each school. So once the application window is closed, you might not get a chance again till 31st of March, when all the admission process will be over in all the schools, and only if seats are left, then only you will be eligible to basically take a chance in any of these schools. This year is basically a landmark in the admission process as well as the education scenario in India, with the implementation of the Right to Education Act, which was passed last year by the Union government. And this year all the state governments have been asked to implement this in their admission process at the school level. What has this led to is basically all the schools now are bound to reserve 25% of their seats for the EWS quota, people who are earning under 1 lakh rupees annually. The complication arising due to this is that the seats which were available to the general category parents due to this have gone down, right? And approximately the seats left for specific general category is around 50% only, if we take out the siblings and the alumni and everything. So the effect of this is that this year you will have less chance of getting through to a school of your choice because the number of seats are less. So you have to take care of the probability factor and apply in more schools this year. It's very important to choose a right school for your child and not just go for so-called top schools, right? As every school might not be right for your child. It depends on various factors like studies, the curriculum being followed in the school, the ethos of the school, the culture being followed, the timings of the school, or stress on extracurricular activities, or just stress on education. So you have to basically chalk out a list of what you are looking for in your child's school, and then make a list of schools which meet those criteria. And in order to do that, basically you need to do a lot of research. That research will involve talking to your peer group, visiting the school yourself. Another tip which we suggest is that not just interacting with the parents of a child who is going to that same school in order to get a feedback about that school. You should also interact with the child. That will give you a first-hand experience of how your child will turn out after a certain period of year. It's a very good strategy of finding out the right school if you interact with the kids also. If you don't have any peers whose kids are going to that same school, you can go, the easiest way to find out is that go to the school during the school closure time when kids are leaving, and you can basically observe how the kids are behaving, how they are talking, and that will help you choose whether the school is right for you or not. And apart from that, just like in Delhi, we now have a point system. So again, you are constrained. Basically, you might not be eligible for each and every school. So you have to go through the point system of each and every school. Some schools are stressing on neighborhood, some schools are giving points for, say, siblings, some schools are giving points for alumni. So you have to find out which schools you might be eligible for, first of all, and then make a list and then apply to these schools. Right age for a child to go to nursery school is a very debatable topic at this moment. It's a very hot topic, even on the online forums as well as in the government and basically among the educationists also. And we personally believe that formal schooling system should not be introduced to a child at very early age, basically. Right? It's not proper for you to send a young child, which is just 3 years old child, to a school which might be 10 kilometers away from your house. The child might not be knowing how to properly interact or something like that. But the dilemma here is that the rules being set by the government at this moment, they have set a entry age of 3 plus in many of the states. For example, in Delhi, even though parents who write to us, they say that we don't want to send our child at 3 plus, but they are left with no options because next year you will not get admissions. Even the Right to Education Act has basically verified this fact. They talk for formal schooling for a child in India from age 6 to 14. Admission day is basically the D-day which every parent waits for. And once your name has been shortlisted in a school, there are certain formalities to be met, and you should be basically prepared for that. One thing is that parents might be needed to be personally present at the day of admission at the school. So it's your duty to inform your employers or plan your business meetings in a way that you are free for that day. If you inform your employers well in advance, then you will not have any problem and they will understand when that day arrives. Another thing is to have all your documentation in place. Generally, schools don't ask for originals when you're submitting the application form, but they will ask for original documents on the day of the admission. So make sure that you have all the original documents with you and you take them along in a file to the school on the D-day, basically, the admission day. Last thing is have sufficient amount of funds ready with you, because you will need to submit fees to any school, and every school has got a different system of taking fees. Some schools will ask for a draft, some schools will ask for payment in form of checks, and some school will ask for a cash payment. So make sure that you have this chalked out, and we suggest that you have at least the fees for at least 2 schools. If you have a list of schools with you, take out 2 schools which charge the maximum and have those funds ready with you, because in case you get through to one school and later on some school is coming out with the result on a different day, you cannot expect the refunds to come easily from the first school, right? So you should be having the money for the second school also. So basically the funds should be ready with you. Basically there are certain tips which parents can follow in order to make a 3-year-old kid cope up with the stress that he might experience when he goes to a formal school. One thing which you can do is you can send him to a good play school that will make him comfortable in a social and classroom environment before he goes to a formal school later on. Another thing is that you should start making him interact with kids which are above his age, which are in the age group of 5 to 6, so that he should get a feel of what a school will be like. This is the environment which he's going to face when he goes to a formal school, because there will be kids of 4 years, 5 years, 6 years in the same school building that he will interact, and he should not feel the peer pressure later on. Another thing is that you should take your child to social gatherings and make him interact with various people. Ask him to greet people, say thank you, welcome. That will make him comfortable in a social environment. Another thing is that you should tell your child that school is a fun thing, basically, and it's something to enjoy. So any kind of fright or apprehensions the child might be having in his mind when he goes to school, he will feel relaxed with your pep talk, what you give him earlier on. And in order to basically make him cope up with the studies that he will encounter from the very first day in a formal school, like reading books or writing, you should start introducing this exercise to him even before he is going to a play school also. At a very early age, like in our case, we started with our son at the age of 1 year, we started reading books to him. And we started giving him worksheets when he was 1.5 years old. They can scribble whatever, but that will make it a sort of fun exercise for them. And later on, they will not have difficulty in coping up with the same. And the last thing is that you should ask your child every day when he comes back from the school that what did he experience in the school. Okay, and basically you should share his joy, and any fears he had, something, you should consult him, talk to him, and take that fear out for him. My message for parents is that don't just run after the so-called top schools. The, uh, the main thing what a parent should look for is a good neighborhood school, and which is the right school for your child. So many new options are coming up, as well as there are certain old neighborhood schools which don't charge you a big amount also, and they are also quite good. So do your research properly. Uh, Look into the old neighborhood schools as well as the new upcoming good schools which have all the best facilities available with them. It's just that they are new. So explore it, and even if your child doesn't get through the top 10, 20 so-called schools in your city, don't consider him unlucky. Don't blame it on the child. There is always a right school available for your child, and it depends on your research and uh, how you go about it. And I hope the tips given by me today will help you in coping up with the nursery admission process. Uh, Further going on, I suggest that you keep on checking the iGenius blog where certain articles on this topic will be put on, as well as nurseryadmissions.com, where all the parents are discussing quite aggressively about all the schooling options and various issues surrounding nursery admissions. All the best, and I hope 14 years down the line, you'll remember this day and your child will come out to be a true citizen of this country and make you proud.